Hi guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another episode of my What If story. This is What If Izzy Midoriya was born in a Vault Tech Vault 02, Part 1. Now, I'm gonna show you what the Vault suit looks like. Minus, I couldn't find the trimmings for it, so let's use your imagination. So, this is basically the Vault suit. Basically what it is. But minus the 111 is has 01 on it. So and it's tore up pretty well. So from the all the harsh experiments. All right, we'll get back to the what if. Now where we left off, all the they made it back to the base. They're having all the new the new haul from the new haul from the vault being processed to be sold to a nearby slave trader town that's run by a ally of Kennedy, um, one of her connections basically to make caps off of people. As they're at the base and they put all the merchandise in their cages. It's like a big cage. Throw them all the women in there, old, young alike. No, they separate the young with the old and the children. So as that goes on, as Izzy, Izzy's worn out from all the experiments, and she passed out, in Kennedy's room because she wants her close. So Kennedy's going through the waiting for Vex to her second command to come in. Now I'm gonna give you a brief description of Vex. Vex is like around the same age as Kennedy. I think I said she's about the same age as Izzy, so like 14, 15 around there. So as Vex, gets in and gets her the rest of the the torture tapes from the overseer office, and Vex knocks on the door. Come in, Kennedy said, and Vex walks in. Oh, Vex, and Kennedy is like, so what do you have for me? You got the rest of them? I'm like, yeah, and there's a whole box full of them. So she's like, here, it's like Kennedy's like, there's a lot of them. What did they do to this girl? And Vex is like, I had no idea. This is your problem. I don't really care about the girl, so I think we should have sold her off with the rest of them. But you're the leader, so I'll obey. As she mumbles in her in her mind, not mumbles, but in her mind, like for now. So small briefly on Vex and Kennedy's relationship. Vex despises Kennedy, so but she's playing it cool right now to find a opportunity to grab power. Typical Raider nonsense. They're always trying to kill their leader to gain their position. So anyways, as Kennedy as Vex leaves the room, as Kennedy sits right next to Izzy because she's passed out sleeping. As she pops in one of the tapes from the Pit Boy. Because basically a Pit Boy could open up security in vaults and hack into computers. So all that stuff, it just has some old-fashioned radio singles from old-fashioned radio stations that are left over from the Fallout. So, but that's not important. But as she flops in one of the tapes called Acid Experiment. As we go into the the little scene of the tape we're walking. Overseer, are you sure you want to go through with this? The girl might not survive this. And I saw she's like, I don't care, like, do it anyways. As you know, they inject acid in her bloodstream and dunk her into like an acid bath. As Izzy is screaming, "Why, Dad? Why?" And Asashi's laughing. He's like, "You're no daughter of mine. You're only a test subject. We're going to find a way to copy that nifty adaptation quirk with you, and we're about to find out how much you could take." As they leave her in the pool of acid for like days, and she's chained down like she's like chained down into the acid, so she can't. She has enough to breathe. Her face is above the acid water, of the acid, but the rest of her body is like being burnt because dissolving because acid hurts. So, and it's very strong acid. So the next day they pull her out and they see like her skin is like badly burned because of the. Then they throw her into the cell, and the next day, like she's fully recovered because I'm giving an adaptation quirk, some generation properties. So it just makes sense that she would generate, and because of that, they next after she recovers, they stick her in the acid pool again. Did the same thing, and she's completely immune. She's like, interesting. So Asashi walks into the laboratory where they're doing the experiments. He's like, "So, the girl's not dead yet." That's a shock. And one of the lab, one of the mad scientists, yeah, apparently she's adept to it. I mean, she healed pretty fast. So they're going through their theories and everything like that. And that's when Kennedy shuts it off. Like, nah, I can't watch any more of this. This is freaking messed up. And as Kennedy, moves around her hair, and Izzy wakes up, and she's kind of freaked out a little bit because new place after she wakes up because she's not used to that. So, and Kennedy's like, "Don't worry, dear." And she's like, "It's time to eat." As she had one of her minions get some food out. He's like, "I know this might not be the same kind of food you eat in that high tech vault of yours, but this is how things run around here." So Izzy is still kind of weak from stuff from the vault. She feeds her, all that stuff goes on, and they continue doing this for about 2 weeks, 3. Let's go with 3, and they still have their slaves. And as Izzy regains her strength, and finally Kennedy asks like, "So, you can finally tell you she grabs her chin, lifts it up to her eyesight, make her look in her eyes. "So, what is your name, miss? You know, my new pet." And she's like, and Izzy's like, "Izzy Midoriya?" And she's like, as she start crying because she's pretty freaking messed up in the head because of all the experiments. So as Kennedy is like, "God, girl," and she's like, "What is this girl doing to me?" Like because she sees it her pet, but she at some level she does care. So yeah, she hugs Kennedy, and Kennedy hugs her, and it's like, enough of that. We need you're coming with me. As she grabs Kennedy by the arm, not Kennedy, Izzy by the arm, and told, and as she walks out of her room, her little building. She has her own little complex in their base. So as it's like, "Vex, we need to gather all the merchandise, and we're going to the shanty town, for the trading, to trade them all and get our caps." And the girl and the rest of the raider groups are like, "Yeah, finally get rid of all these freaking extra mouths to feed. It's killing all our food." So as they get ready, they chain them all up, and like every one of them have like a chain around both their arms, around their wrist, as they begin their travel to the slave trader town. And as that goes on, they get there with no problem. There hasn't been no, nothing attacked them. So, they like maneuver around all the other creatures that's in the area because, they know the area pretty well. So, as that goes on, they get to this shiny town. Oh, Kennedy, it's a older man with an eye patch, gray beard. He's an older gentleman. He's the older, he's a raider. So, this is a raider group that, she's friends with. And I was like, oh, Kennedy, it's nice to see you, dear. So what did you bring me today? And she's like, oh, here. And he's like, oh, there's quite a few of them. Where did you get these guys? He's like, Vault 02, I believe, what the vault called. Like, as Kennedy looks at the, Izzy's vault suit, oh yeah, it's definitely, 02. As, the guy sees, Izzy, and he's like, oh, so is this one of them too? Is this one for sale too? She's quite attractive. And Izzy's like, no, this one's mine. She's not for sale. As, she's very, very, aggressive about that part. And she's like, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to, deprive you of your precious pet. Hopefully this one, lives past, a week. And Kennedy, oh, yeah, the last one, betrayed me, so I had to, take care of her. So, they're laughing here like, you did more than take care of her. You freaking burned her alive. And it's like, yeah, that's what people get. That's what they get for betraying me. And, the guy gulps because he's somewhat afraid of Kennedy because she's quite vicious sometimes when it comes down to business. So, it's like, all right, let's go, see how much we get. There's quite a lot of them. And he brought up, so where's the male population? Was there males? Kennedy, yeah, the male population was too much trouble, so I had them all killed. Kennedy was a smile, and it's like, very well, you're one twisted girl, but that's why I like you so much. So let's continue our business. Let's continue our transaction. So you got about 50 young, 20 20 kids, and about 15 old. The old I could give you maybe about 30 caps. The young, about 400. And the kids, I'll give, about 1,000. And Vex is like, why so much for the kids? Because they're kids. We could have them condition into the role very easily and not worry about, trying to escape. So, as Vex, understands, and Kennedy's like thinking like Vex is you're stupid in her head. It's like, yeah, what, like that's supposed to be my second command. She's freaking dumb. So, she's thinking that. She's not gonna say it out loud because, Vex and them don't get along. So Vex and Kennedy don't get along. So he's like, as she hands her the caps, and as she, Kennedy grabs Izzy by the wrist again. Izzy, we're going to go, get you something new to wear. Yeah, I'm not having you wear that disgusting jumpsuit. And so, Izzy's like, yes. Because she's still, she has no training whatsoever. She's been tortured her whole life, so, she doesn't have a backbone right now. But, things will change in the future. As, she gets to, like, a tailor from the, that's the people that, basically, they, make clothes. Not very good clothes, but sometimes you find something special in there. So, as she walks in, sees a older lady with blonde hair and let's say not green eyes, but yellow eyes. She has some sort of yeah, her quirk doesn't matter because let's just say she has a creation quirk because she can make clothes. That's what she does for a living. So, oh, Kennedy, dear, you're here. And let's name her Rose, just because I can. So, oh, Rose, it's been a while. And Rose is like, yeah, it's been a while, Kennedy. So what brings you here? And it's like, yeah, my new pet here needs a new outfit. Something, something nice. And Rose, walks over to, it's like, may I expect, the young lady? And she's like, go ahead, just don't get too touchy. And Rose like laughs like, no worry, dear. I'm far too old for her. So as that goes on, she looks at Izzy. He's like, yeah, she is attractive. I think I have a thing just for her. As we're gonna do a small pause, I'm gonna go show you the outfit first. Okay, this is it. Now I don't own this picture. This person, this you can tell her watermark or him. I don't really tell. They make really awesome artwork, so you guys should check them out. And the part of the shirt that's not in color, that's that's over the cloak and everything. So that's part of her outfit. So as Kennedy, she shows Kennedy the outfit, and Kennedy's like, so this is pretty nice. How much is it? And there's like, because we're friends, because we're so close. I'll give it to you as like 40 caps, maybe 45. And she's like, he's like, that's pretty low. I was like, yeah, you've helped my business quite out with all your vault exports. It's like, yeah, it's easier to target vaults than target actual towns because the Brotherhood still is active in this area. So I don't want to get involved with those freaks. As they're all laughing. Yeah, those guys are a little uppity about their technology, and they occasionally go after raiders, and I'm not having that. As she explains to Rose, she's like, very well, dear. As that goes on, all right. As they process everything, they got their money through the finally finalized the haul of people that they sold. And Kennedy told Izzy to get dressed in the little small room, changing room, and she like gets dressed and she still has a safe collar, but it's like hidden over. As Kennedy goes over to her, like, let me check something. As she checks the collar to make sure it's not pinching her skin. I'm sorry I flopped it on so nilly-willy, but I was in a rush. So it's like it seems it's doing it right. Everything's working well. I don't want that collar to go off by accident. As Izzy gulps because she saw what happens when you disobey her when it comes to that collar. So she doesn't want to die. So she she's like why, like, Rose is taking care of the customers right now. And it's like, so why are you being so nice to me? And she's just asking questions like, dear, you're very, you caught my eye, so I'm gonna take care of you. You're my new pet, like I said in the vault, in your, old home. I'm gonna take care of you. All that happens, and it's like, let's get back to, our home. I gotta, get you to, have you do a couple jobs around the base. So, as that goes on, as they begin, their little raider group decides, to venture back. They see a couple of power armor that are owned by Brotherhood of Steel. So they're God, like Kennedy's like, God damn it, we can't go our original way. We're going to have to go through the abandoned shantytown. And Vex's like, are you crazy? That's suicide. That's ghoul territory. And Kennedy's like, we don't have a chance. We don't have a choice. We either go our way, come in contact with the Brotherhood, and you know how our history as a Brotherhood is still. We've crossed paths several times, and it's usually the shoot first and ask questions later, Vex. And Vex like, very well. It's just such a bad idea. And Kennedy's like, I know, but we have no choice. As that goes on, they, venture into the shantytown now. Before we begin, before we continue, I want to show you what a ghoul looks like. If you don't know what a ghoul is, this is not a ghoul from Tokyo Ghoul. So, let's get that idea out of your head. So, this is a ghoul. Now, this is a feral ghoul. Now, in the Fallout series, ghouls are made through heavy, sorry, heavy, what's the word I'm thinking of? Exposure to radiation. So it mutates the body. So it loses all his, like, mutates the skin and lose all the hair. And, eventually, a ghoul will eventually turn into a feral ghoul. I mean, there's been many theories about how long a ghoul can live. But basically, if it lives long enough, it goes feral. Because all ghouls go feral eventually. So, let's continue. As they, go through the abandoned, town, as they hear, like, they hear, like, kind of screeching noises, like yelling, screeching noises from ghouls, feral ghouls, as a whole group of them come out of crevices, the windows, you know, every crevice they could pop out of. Like, we have contact, Kennedy. All right, girls, kill them all. As they, begin firing, and Vex and Kinde told Vex to take care of the girl. I gotta work. She's gotta do her thing. So Vex doesn't want to, but very well. Come, slave. And Kinde is like, she has a name, Fine. What's this thing name? And she's like, her name is Izzy. So, as that goes on, fine, Izzy. Come on. As, a couple ghouls come at it, like, target Izzy and Vex just, pulls out her gun and shoots them in the head, and they're dead. And that's when the ground starts to crack open. They, like, the structure underneath the city is a old abandoned subway. Over the years, the structure has weakened, so that much weight on with them on it, it finally gives out, and as Vex and Izzy falls down into a infested subway, with ghouls, as Izzy hits her head pretty hard on the pavement. That's on the pavement ground. As Vex is somewhat okay. So Vex is a quirkless. She doesn't have no quirk. So and not a, and in Kennedy's quirk, they don't know about it. She hasn't demonstrated yet. She hasn't told them because she still doesn't trust her own raider group because raiders are backstabbers. So as Vex gets up and picks up, come on girl, come on Izzy, let's get out of here. We need to get back to the surface. As out of nowhere, about 30, no, not 30, let's say there are four ghouls, two in the back and two in the front, rush them both. As one of the ghouls bites Izzy in the neck, and she, like, pushes it off and kicks it away, and it goes flying into our previous wall. And as the two attack Vex, they're like, they're beating her, like, they're scratching her and try to bite her as she's trying to pull them off. And these ghouls have a very minor strength quirk. I cannot. I hit small pause. I cannot make the goal not have quirks. I mean, come on. This is a combined between two worlds. So as we continue, as Vex is getting beat a little bit, as Izzy sees a very rusty machete in a half-eaten the machete's in the skull of a half-eaten civilian that ventured down here in the subway and got eaten. from, all the ghouls. So as she, tries to pull it out, it's rough, but she finally gets to pull the machete out. Blood spurts on her face, and she wipes it off. Then she, like, then, the ghouls, the two that target Izzy in the first place, get up, and, she kicked both of them, so gets up and tries to rebite, Izzy tried to, get into her skin, as she just swings the machete and cuts one of their heads off, as the other one, grabs her by her, by her head and slams her into the ground as it begins to try to tear at her. As she elbows the ghoul in the face, turns around and throws the machete strictly into the chest, killing the ghoul instantly. So as that gets, she's like, she's hurt, and Vex, killed her group as she like gets up and told Izzy to come on, let's get out of here. As that goes on, they go through the subway trying to get into find an entryway to the surface. As Vex is bitching about this is ever since Kennedy picked you up, you're nothing but trouble. I would have killed you on the spot, but boss likes you for some reason. Come on. As she's being aggressive towards Izzy because she doesn't like her because of things. So as that goes on, they finally get to the surface, and as more ghouls pop out of the building because they're outside of the subway because they fell in not too deep, so they weren't in there for very long. I could have made that part a whole lot longer, but there'll be future chances in the future to get into the sewers, to the subways. I could do some cool things with that. But as they get out of there, and there's a group of ghouls surrounding them, and Izzy still has the machete. As she's firing, Vex fires at the ghouls, mostly aiming for the head. And when the ghouls get close to, their surroundings, or get close to them, Izzy, does freaking swings the machete, going for either the neck or the heart. I don't know, if the ghoul dies straight up from a heart, but I'm just saying it does. So as that's happening, as one of the ghouls grabs the machete and breaks it, basically shatter it in a million pieces, and grabs Izzy by the neck and throws her. Does this little war, like the screechy noise that ghouls do. That's when Kennedy jumps in and just freaking dismantles that poor ghoul, that feral ghoul, chops his arms off in the head, then kicks the head into another ghoul. Then pulls out her gun and starts firing at the remainder ghoul. And as she gets over, to Izzy, examines her, she's bleeding. She's like, God, you were hurt. I told you to take care of her, Vex. And Vex like, that's not my fault. We got the structure collapsed, and we ended up into the subway system with a bunch of these disgusting creatures. As as she's pissed, she doesn't want to hear it. It's like, if this happened again, you're dead. As that goes on, as they finally after that incident, they half of their unit, half of their group has been killed. As Vex is very upset about this. As they get back, and Kennedy is looking over at Izzy, and she's like, "You alright?" It's like, "You alright?" And she sees, her healing extremely fast. It just takes a couple minutes to activate to get the regeneration going. So as that happens, and she's like, "You heal pretty fast." that will come in handy for you in the future. And Izzy's like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. This is just. She's like, no, no, no. Let's get you something to eat, and we're going to. I'm going to tell you what you be doing around here. And it's like, Izzy's like, what do you mean? He's like, you're not going to do anything too bad. You're just going to be, my personal maid. So, it's like, you're just going to make sure, you're going to make my food. Because she doesn't trust the rest of the groups, the rest of her raiders. It's like, I want you to, you be my personal cook. You be cooking all my food, cleaning, and all that sort of thing. So, as that goes on for about a week or so, a lot of the Vex has been acting weird and been, you know, talking behind Kennedy's back, but she doesn't know about it yet. As Vex and Vex and the rest of the group's like, so when are we going to move on? We're going to Vex's point of view. He's like, so when are we going to move, Vex? Ever since Kennedy picked up that freaking Vault girl. Sorry, we've had nothing but trouble. Yeah, we got a lot of cops, but that girl is bad news. Like, she's bad luck. On the way back, we got attacked by ghouls. That sort of thing. They're like very superstitious about that. So all that some jazz. So I was like, don't worry, we'll move tonight. Her little pet and her will die. I'll kill them both myself. As they're all like, finally we could get we could finally hit like actual towns now when she's out of the picture. Because Vex wants to move into more populated areas to gather slaves. So, get merchandise. So as that goes on, as Vex is, working on a couple of things in her workshop with, Izzy was doing something in the other room as Vex grabs her by the back of the neck, like, and points a gun to her head. You're coming with me, girl. As as the whole group of raiders decide to pop out with their guns, and Kinde is like, what is this? What is the meaning of this? And she's like, Vex is like, I had enough of your leadership. I'm taking over and killing you. Drop your weapons or the girl dies. As as Kinde is like, you really think you're gonna kill me? She's laughing hysterically, and she's like, and she gets really serious out of nowhere. Drop the gun away from my pet, and you might live. And you're like, unlikely. As she points at, as she had the gun to Izzy's head, and she grabs her other gun and points it at Kennedy. And Vex, she has a knife on her pouch. So as she's gloating to Kennedy, Izzy took the chance to grab the knife from her pouch and stab her in the neck as she's holding it. She's like, oh, she dropped that gun. She's like, stupid bitch, I'm gonna kill you. She's holding it, and that's that moment where Kennedy activates her quirk, and like Izzy, ran away like a good distance away from her because she's wanting to get shot at. So as Izzy hides behind a counter, and as Kennedy's like, you should have listened. As she raises her hands and decides to use her quirk and vaporize with her energy, with her radiation manipulation quirk, and vaporize her. Nothing was left but like a pile of bones, like a skeleton. As she begins to slaughter her own, raider group, because she's done with them. As she begins slaughtering, slaughters everyone in the room except for Izzy, and she walks over to Izzy and grabs her, grabs her cheek by her hand, just like, stay here. I'll take care of the rest of these waste of space. As Izzy's scared of her life is like bad. So she's got tortured for years, and now she's outside the vault, and creatures are attacking her, and people are trying to kill her, and all sorts of things so that she doesn't understand. So as that goes on, as Kennedy goes, they're firing. They they build a blockade outside of the building and begin, firing at, Kennedy. As Kennedy, blasts all of them, killing them. Mixture between her quirk and her katana as she's slicing people's heads, vaporizing them with her energy quirk. As she begins to gather all the rest of her energy and do a burst of a radiation shockwave, killing everyone in the radius that's not inside the building, and they're all dead. As Kennedy, walks out, she's covered in blood because she, was up and close, you know, with using her katana. As she, walks over to Izzy. He's like, Izzy, like, we need to, this place is no longer, we no longer need this place. We're going to go to one of my safe house. As, she, helps Izzy up, and they leave, and she's like, she sees all the massacre and all the damage. She like her stomach kind of pukes a little bit, and Kennedy, she knows that the girl hasn't really been, hasn't really seen actual human death before, like besides the ghouls. So it's a pretty gruesome scene. As Kennedy lets her do her get the process of thieving all at her system, and she's like, all right, we need to get going, pet. As they run off, they go, and she has she kept all the tapes of the torture, so there'll be plenty of flashbacks in the future. In the previous episode, what I said, if you want your favorite character in UA to be in this story, please leave a comment down below. Your feedback is important. I like to know what you guys like to see. So I'm gonna leave it off here. I hope you guys have a good night and day, judging my time zones. I'll catch you guys later. All right, bye.